Hello guys, it's Glurmit here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking a little bit about Trench. This video was actually recommended to me by a couple of people, one of them being Dank, and there was also a couple of people sending messages asking for me to make this video. So guys, before I took my break, I was already quite a fan of Trench. I was never someone who would say he was an elite team, and I respect that he's not, but I've always been very clear that I believe that he's undervalued both defensively and offensively across really the wider community. And I'm very surprised that I took a break from the game, I come back, and the opinion has not changed. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the team compositions I like. There's a few for 3v3. There's a few of them for 5v5. I'm going to be talking a little bit about TW and what you can actually do with him, which is really nice, and a little bit about him in Grand Arena, if that is something that interests you there. I will mention some TB stuff, but honestly, I understand it's not really on many people's agendas these days. Right, guys, so the first thing when you're looking at Trench is we need to kind of establish the different teams. Now, I have got most of the characters here. Ignore this last one, which you guys will see. If I just move myself over, you guys can see in full there. This is not necessarily the lineup you would use. It's just an example, okay? So traditionally, the best Trench team, and the one I would run, is Trench, Jango, Count Dooku, Nute Gunray, and Wat Tambor. This is the best team, in my opinion, for 5v5, offense, defense, and territory war. Okay, then we've got what I would consider the best 3v3 team, which is the Trench, Dooku, and Wat Tambor team. And then we obviously have down below, I removed Wat Tambor, I put Ventress in. Basically the symbolism behind this is just that you can remove one of the characters and put Ventress in if you don't want to use her with Night Sisters. Okay. And normally people would just take Wat Tambor out because they want to use him as C, and I respect that. And sometimes people take Nute out, or some people take out, say, Jango, right? So it's kind of one of them fluid ones that can change. Okay, guys, so before we really get into the modding, I just want to talk a little bit about how the team actually works. And if you guys are only here for the modding, the video should be time-coded, so you can actually skip to whichever section you're looking to watch. Although I do recommend you guys watch the whole thing, because you never know, you might learn something new. All right, guys, so in terms of how the team's working, it's all to do with our buddy Trench over here. And that is partly down to his lead and partly down to his unique. So in terms of how Trench is working, his team is all about controlling the battle, really. Trench teams tend to get a lot of speed, and people seem to underestimate this. So, for example, if we're looking at his lead over here, you can see that just straight up, they're gaining 10% speed for each ally with a tech, and each enemy with an extortion on them. So straight away in a battle, if you guys play it correctly, and you're not really going to be getting this too often, but obviously we're going to talk about the highest threshold you can reach, you're actually looking at getting, a maximum of 80% speed increase, which is just ridiculous. And that's kind of where Trench, he's a slow build up, but when he reaches those stages, he's really good. The potency is nice, max health, max protection. This is just standard. Obviously, if you do his Omicron, that is going to add the mastery and everything else on top of it, which is really nice. And the guaranteed critical hits. His Omicron is very nice there. Now, the other thing we're going to be looking at and identifying from his lead here, guys, is this section here. So whenever a separatist ally inflicts a debuff, they gain a 20% offense for 3 turns stacking. Okay, limit once per turn. But the big thing here, guys, is you can ramp up your offense, and you can have like 60% offense increase here, which is really nice. And also, you're going to get the added potency, as we know. And this is the most important thing, guys. The Bactoid Shield Generator. This is the tank tech on Wat Tambor. If you use that on someone, it is going to basically make them immune to stealth. And it's going to make them immune to basically critical hits. It's not actually immunity, it's just 100% critical avoidance. They also get a load of defense as well. Now, the reason I wanted to discuss the way trench teams work first is because that is going to impact our way the modding works, right? So now we've kind of spoken about his lead. What does his unique do? Because this is a big thing for trench teams. So one of the reasons, and we'll be talking about this in a second for my mod choice here, I'm sure some of you have noticed this and you might be thinking, Glurmit, this is very strange. If you actually look at Trench's unique here, one of the really cool things he has is just down here. Whenever another droid, non-droid separatist ally is damaged, evades, or is defeated by any attack, he has a 50% chance to gain 100% turn meter. This is massive, and this is why I think a lot of people are actually modding him wrong. It wouldn't be the case that everyone mods him one way if they were completely wrong. So there is obviously a reason people mod him the way they do. However, I still think you're better off modding him this way if you have the mods available to you. Okay? And that is because, guys, most people are modding Trench for speed and a little bit of potency or speed and health. And they're going for the, high protection, high health. I just don't think that's the way to go, guys. So Trench, surprisingly, has a decent amount of special offense as it is. I've got mine at R8, and as you can see, he's only getting 3,000, give or take, from this. So he's got about 9k special offense, which is not a low amount by any stretch of the imagination, especially considering it's a support. The other thing is he's taking a lot of turns, guys. A lot of turns. Because of that, is basically a coin flip. So imagine he gets hit, evades, anything, and this is on everyone. Flip a coin. If his heads, he goes. If his tails, he doesn't. But then you're basically flipping a coin every single turn. And not to mention, if there's someone like Butch Leia, which this team does destroy Jabba teams, it's not just one coin flip, you're flipping the coin 4 or 5 times. The odds that he doesn't get the turn meter, incredibly low, okay? Unless, of course, he's dazed. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of against a speed mod, because why would you give him a speed set? Which would also indicate you're giving him a decent speed set, because you're not giving a character a speed set to make them mid. If you're going to give them a speed set, you're aiming for like at least 100 speed on a set. And I just don't understand why you would do that, because there's a coin flip chance that he just gets the turn meter regardless. Like, you could put it on someone more important. You see where I'm going with this, guys? So that is why I'm actually modding Trench for offense, okay? Because he's taking a lot of turns, he does a decent amount of damage, and he doesn't really need anything else. And guys, he does hit really, really hard. In TW, in GAC, he does surprisingly do a lot of damage. Okay? So that is why I have chosen to mod Trench this way. So I've got a health set, I've got a offense set, and he has offense on the triangle, potency on the cross, and I will be explaining that to you in a second here, guys. He has speed on the arrow, and then obviously he's got just standard mods there. I do like the health protection, health primary, sorry. Right, guys, so if you're wondering why I'm still running potency, because you would have seen Trench lead gives a lot of potency, 30% potency, and the team in general have high base potency. It's because his team is so reliant on getting those debuffs. Not only is it increasing your damage, remember guys, your 20% offense increase every time you inflict a debuff. Trench can do it, Jango can do it, Nute can do it, Watt can do it, although why does he need offense increase? Dooku can do it. You see where I'm going with this, guys? You need to be landing those debuffs. However, there's a really important one here, guys. You have to land shocks. If you don't land shocks against certain teams, Jabba included, you're going to have a bad time. And as you guys will know, especially with the rise of Merrin, the rise of Night Sisters versus Jabba, a lot of people are now modding their chrysanthemums for very, very high tenacity. A lot of people are running tenacity crons. So in order to overcome this, guys, you need the potency. Even though he's got very high potency, you need it. And you don't just need it on him, you need it on everyone. Right, so that's Trench's mods. Let's go ahead and have a look at the next character, guys. I'm going to go one by one, explain their kits, try and go into as much detail as possible. This is actually my second time recording this video. I wasn't really happy with the detail I went in the first one. I want to kind of explain it in the most detail, guys, so you get the full picture here. Okay, so Jango. Again, look at the sets, guys. Offense, potency. I don't think Jango needs a lot of speed. Now, I know some people will be a little bit different here because there is one part of Trench's kit we didn't cover, which we're going to cover now, and that is all to do with the burning debuff. But some people like to make him fast in order to get that out quicker. I don't think that's important. So, guys, what does burning normally do? Normally, if you burn, this can't be evaded, by the way, the damage, but the burn can be resisted. It's basically they're gonna lose 25% max health stacking if they're already suffering a debuff, and on Galactic Legends they lose tenacity. Now, in a Trench team, they're actually going to be prevented from attacking out of turn and assisting while burned. This is a game changer, guys. So if you can land this burn, Leia team, like not Leia specifically, but I mean Leia in a Jabba team, no more constant attacks. Jabba, no more getting people to assist. It makes your life easy. Now, obviously, I like to mod for offense because you're already going to be gaining a load of offense just from using the team doing the debuffs. Jango, does have some debuffs he can put out, and he also attacks multiple times on a debuff. So you have his special, the Shrapnel Blast, is going to inflict healing immunity and stagger. Those are 2 debuffs he can apply. Obviously, you've got the burn. So you have the potential for the offense gain. So I like to mod him for offense. I like to mod him for potency. Honestly, guys, you don't need crazy speed. And if you can take him to like R8, that would be good. But as you can see, I'm using an R7 Jango, and that's perfectly fine. Again, on the mods, I like a potency cross for the same reason as Trench. I know you're losing a lot of offense, guys. And maybe if there's a datacron set out when you're watching this, because obviously you might watch this a few months from now, maybe even a year from now. And you'll be thinking, and there's a potency datacron set out. I can get 100% potency. Then you could run an offense cross. I have crit damage on the triangle, and offense is on here. Now, I know this is a very, very slow mod. Honestly, guys, it doesn't matter. That's just a temporary placeholder one anyways. But you just want to have offense. The speed isn't as important. Now, guys, moving on to Dooku. He is the character that I like to be as fast as possible in this team. Now, I have spoken about this in the past, and I'll link a video in the comments down below, and it's all about levers. I know Zara's also spoken about this a few years ago as well, and it's basically the idea that every team in the game will have 1 or 2 characters who propel their team to success. This could be through turn meter manipulation. This could be through just buffs such as speed up. It could be through turn meter gains, everything, right? And Dooku is the one on this team, and that's all because of this ability here. What it's going to be doing is it's going to, 1, stealth everyone, and 2, it's going to be giving everyone on a separatist team 15% turn meter. Now, the reason this is so nice, guys, is because the team's already so quick. So remember, guys, as soon as someone gets a tech, the entire team is gaining 10% speed. So what Tambor will go first? He's going to put the shield tech, the back to shield tech, on Jango. That's going to give everyone 10% speed. So if we was to look at Dooku's speed, for example, we're now going up 32 speed just like that. And then he's going to do this, and that's going to give everyone the speed boost. Okay, so you're going to get the turn meter, and once you've gained that, it's going to stealth everyone. Now, because of Trench's kit, Jango is going to remove that stealth, and he's going to be basically taunting because he's got damage immunity. Now, this is the other really nice thing here, guys. If you don't make Jango too quick, you're going to be able to use that damage immunity for a little bit longer, which is really, really nice. Now, we move on to Nute's mods, and again, we want a little bit of potency on him, and we want speed. So, guys, at this point, normally when you're using this team, you're following the modding, you're probably going to be having Nute go after Dooku. I like to have Nute be reasonably fast, and again, when you apply that extortion, another 10% increase on speed, which is really, really nice. So now at this point, Other than GLs, your team outside of Territory War should be faster than everyone in their team. And not to mention, this can also trigger speed down. That is why you're running a potency set on Nute. Again, it seems very, very minute, guys. But that speed down, that percentage decrease in your enemy team's speed, coupled with your speed increases and your just mods and everything else, makes this team just Terminator loop the enemy one completely. And as you can see, it's not looking too bad here, guys. So that's what you're going to be wanting to run on Nute. You're going to want to run speed with the potency cross, and then you can run health on everything else. And the reason you're running health is because the team does use protection up. And obviously, protection up is based on max health. So that's why we're running health sets or health primaries on the entire team. Right, guys, to finish it off, we actually have Wat Tambor here. And you're going to want him to be modded like the following. I've got him decently fast. Again, you don't need him to be this quick. In fact, if you want to save mods, I would argue the only characters that actually need speed in this team are Nute and Dooku. Everyone else can be pretty slow. And what he's basically in the team to do is the revive if necessary, but he's in here for the techs, guys, and that is the most important thing. So the shield tech will always go on Jango, the weapon tech will always go on Nute, and then you'll put the medpack tech on whoever seems the weakest out of Trench or Dooku, honestly just depending on relic levels. I like to have him fast just so that he gets the techs out a little bit quicker, because obviously the quicker you get the techs out, the quicker you're gaining the speed increases. He's also very nice because he can dispel the dazes and all of that on him as well. And yeah, he's just a speed set with some health mods as well, as you can see here. Right, and then obviously we do have Ventress, who you can put in. You can sub her in for Nute, you can sub her in for Dooku, you can honestly sub her in for anyone. I don't really feel it, guys. I prefer to use the normal team. If you want to use her, you can. If you do, then you're just going to want to run her standard crit damage, crit chance. Will work very, very nicely there. Right, guys, so now we've gone over the modding and how the team is functioning. I'm going to talk a little bit about the team compositions, and then I'm actually going to bring up a clip of me going up against a Jabba team and explaining what I'm doing and how we're doing it. And then I'm just going to finish with talking to you guys a little bit about the teams you can beat in Grand Arena and Territory War with Trench. Right, guys, so in terms of the team compositions, I've kind of already spoken a little bit about it, but this is the best one, the one at the top here. Again, you can substitute some of them for, say, a Sarge. Some people even put Geos in there, but you're losing a lot of bonuses, so I'm not really a big fan of that. So that's what I would run there. You don't really want to run any droids here, guys. Now, in terms of 3v3, this is where the potential comes to change the team and kind of come up with different solutions. So this is the best lineup you can get, guys, hands down. Trench, Dooku, Wat Tambor. This is the best one you can get. However, if you don't want to run this team, you can run Trench, Jango, Dooku. You can run Trench, Jango, Sarge. And honestly, you can kind of mix and match them. But the thing is, as soon as you take Dooku and Wat Tambor out, you're losing a lot. So normally on defense, for example, Wat Tambor is going to put the shield tech on Dooku, and Dooku's going to counter, and he's going to have the defense increase, and it's just going to cause some irritation for your opponent. But honestly, this is just a nice team to place, especially with good data cruns. Like I said, you can put Jango in there, but I think Jango is better used elsewhere. And if you do this lineup here with Trench, it does mean you can run, say, Nute, Jango, B1 as a separate team, which is really, really nice. But I do understand Wat Tambor may be a little bit more important for your roster in 3s versus 5s. And then in terms of the battle against Jabba, I'm going to give you guys a brief summary while there's some footage playing in the background. So basically, when you go up against Jabba, you're going to load in, and Jabba's going to put the thermals in everyone. Okay, he does that normally. Then Leia's going to kind of go a little bit crazy. The only way this fails at the beginning is if they put all the thermals on Wat Tambor, and Wat Tambor dies in the first turn. It's like a very, very low % chance. It doesn't really happen here, guys. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is it's going to be your turn, guys, and Trench would have gone by now. Because remember, Leia's gone, that 50 coin flip 4 times, the odds are in your favor. So now Trench has gone. What you're going to be doing is basicking Chrysanthemum. Now, this is why you need that potency, guys, because if you land the shock on Chrysanthemum, it means the next time Trench goes, you can dispel it with his special. If you do it any other way around, you're going to be stuck on the taunt and you're going to have a bad time. So now, hopefully, you've landed that shock. And once you do, you can start just going around, put some extortion on Nute, make sure you're getting those techs, as I explained earlier, the shield tech on Jango, the weapon tech on Nute, and the medpack tech on whoever you would like. If you're wondering why we're putting a medpack tech on Nute, it's because it's a 15% turn meter gain whenever anyone takes a turn. And again, Trench is already going to be taking turns, guys, so don't waste it on him, put it on Nute instead. Right, guys, so now you should be at the point where you've got rid of the taunt and Jango's going. Now, at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to burn. And if you've got the correct potency, they're all going to get burnt. No more attacks out of turn. Jabba's going to struggle for that ultimate. And then what we're going to do is just fire down on Leia. Once Leia's dead, we start firing down on the others. Now, there are some lineups for Jabba that do cause problems for this. Most notably ones with Boba Fett. Because guess what, guys? Boba Fett can dispel buffs. And for every buff he's dispelling on Disintegrate, he is going to be doing a lot of damage, guys. Not to mention, he's also going to be preventing revives. So it's nice to kind of keep him ability blocked. And in TW, if you have the basic Omicron, I don't, but it's on my list of ones to do, it's a lot easier to get around that because it's an unresisted ability block that also reduces crit damage for the rest of the battle. So now we should be dealt with Leia. We should be dealt with all the sides. Just chuck it on auto. You're going to be fine. To get through Chrysanthemum, the best thing is either to put it on Jango, because he prevents revives, to put it on Nute, because Nute prevents revives with weapon tech, or just take your time, go through them. The only problem is outside of Grand Arena, outside of Territory War, sometimes you might time out on a good Jabba, but honestly, if you've got Datacrons on, and if you've got good mods, you should eventually get through him. It's a really, really nice counter. So guys, to wrap up the video, I just want to talk to you a little bit about other teams that this can be beating. So obviously we've spoken about Jabba. In Territory War, it can beat Lord Vader teams. You can also kind of deal with Rey teams pretty successfully. I haven't tried this myself against the Rey with Ezra in there as well. You can honestly beat some really nice teams there. Obviously, most people just put him on defense. He gets beaten by, say, General Skywalker, Traya teams, these sorts of teams, especially in Grand Arena. And he may seem underwhelming. But if you use him correctly, guys, and mod him correctly, this can be a GL counter, and he's extremely good at cleanups. Also, guys, just a quick thing before we end. In 3v3, Trench is one of the best Rey cleanups in the game. So if you are someone who's dropped a battle on Rey, Ben is dead, you will know Rey can be a real pain to deal with because of the damage immunity, because of the whirlwind. You know, you get so close to killing her, she gets all her health back, you're dead. Trench is extremely good for dealing with Rey in these situations. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked how much detail this went into, then please let me know down in the comments that you did enjoy this style of video. Anyways, guys, my name is Glurmit, and I hope you will have a glowing day.